what are you diversifying your investments in, whether it's investments in time, technology, other resources? What is your thinking right now moving forward for base?
I think that um, I think that the pandemic has kind of put a lot of different things into perspective for me personally, and I think from as a business owner, the idea of us being this hybrid space, that it wasn't just a cafe, um, needs to kind of be accelerated a little bit, especially from the technology side. Is that we were always, that's kind of whatever you want to call it, like our pitch, our kind of like story was that we were going to be this, but the execution of that part and like you know how to do that now is going to be different than how it was 6 months ago. Like I think every company has to adjust and kind of and pivot. Basically, you have to pivot into something new. And I think for us, just seeing like we've been getting a lot more inquiries about technology services and just like whether it's like basic things from like like laptop repair upgrades, like to like server maintenance and stuff like that. I think it's just like people are starting to understand that, and they're just like instead of being sold something, they realize the value of it themselves. So it's like they need to get involved, they need to buy into it. So like the idea for us is to continue building a community, like figuring out how to collaborate with other tech companies, how to collaborate with other people that are not only in tech, but in the food industry, like how to continue growing that community, how to build partnerships and with other businesses that are struggling. And I think it's, something good will come out of this. Like I truly believe that. Like I know, it's like, like you got, it's like a diamond, you're going to have to go through and tumble and for a long time. You're going to have to fall and get crushed, but eventually if you keep at it, something will come out of it. And I think something will come out of this pandemic. I think people like there will be something that is a huge positive that people probably never even saw. And I think that's kind of the idea for base, is like how do we pivot more into technology? How do we build more of a community and let people know, hey, these are other services that we offer, these are other things that we can provide, and then how to build partnerships with other tech companies that can help us with that as well, because like running a retail space and running a cafe is very different than doing IT consulting and network consulting in a lot of ways. Like there is obviously a difference to it, but I think the idea is the conversation, is like how to start that conversation with people, how to do it in a way where you're educating them. I think it's kind of like, like it just creates a more, you know, like I would say, like, chill atmosphere in that sense for you to discuss these things without feeling really intimidated about it. And so I think that's kind of the idea for us, is like trying to incorporate more of that within our company. Um, and so it's a work in progress. Like we just take it one day at a time. And I think there's always new ideas, there's always new things. And it's just like, how do we execute them? Like, we try to, before we were doing events, and we try to do events that would, that were like, tech centric. Like we did hackathons in the cafe. We did like a 48 hackathon with this organization called Fake Tech, and they came in and then they would, had projects that they would start trying to, build. And you're obviously not going to build something in 48 hours, but the idea is that it's a community. It's a, it's like problem solving. So everyone comes together, you get a lot of heads into one room and see, kind of, throw things at the wall and see what sticks and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And so now that, with the pandemic, we can't really do that. So it's kind of like, well, how do we, what is another way to do that? Whether it's like, Zoom meetings or, teleconferencing, or, just like, I think it's just, talking to people in the industry, because I think everyone has something that they can offer. And the more people that I think is involved and the more minds are in it, um, something's going to come out of it. It's like brainstorming.
Yeah, for sure.